Good day, viewers and subscribers. Welcome back to my channel. This is Girls Connection, the World Connection. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Also, click the notification bell to receive daily news updates locally and internationally. Stories coming up in today's news headlines are: woman stabbed to death and house set ablaze in Portland, and her lover is on the run. Man killed by unknown assailants in St. Anne. Nurse stabbed to death in Manchester robbery attempt. Retired cop in custody after wife stabbed to death, and retired police inspector charged with wife stabbing death. Woman stabbed to death, house set ablaze in Portland, and lover on the run. In what is being reported as another case of domestic violence, a woman was stabbed to death and her house set ablaze in Portland on Tuesday. The deceased woman has been identified as 50-year-old Maureen Johnson of Olivier Housing Scheme, Buff Bay, Portland. According to police reports, Johnson and her common-law husband had a dispute at their home about 10 p.m. and during the altercation, the man allegedly stabbed her several times before setting the house on fire and fleeing the scene. Johnson's charred remains were later found during cooling down operations after a unit from the Buff Bay fire station responded to the fire. Up to the time of publication, the police said they were still searching for the woman's common-law husband for questioning. The incident comes after another alleged domestic killing last Saturday in which 65-year-old Pamela Manning was fatally stabbed allegedly by her husband during a dispute between the couple in the Cumberland community in Portmore, St. Catherine. 62-year-old retired police inspector Padang Manning was charged on Tuesday for the murder. Last month in Portland, Rohan Martin, an undertaker of Guys Hill, St. Catherine, allegedly killed his girlfriend, 29-year-old Latoya Hill, otherwise called Trish, during a dispute at their home in David Lane in the parish. Investigators believed her death was forced trauma to the head. Man killed by unknown assailants in St. Anne. A motive is yet to be established by the St. Anne police in relation to the murder of a 40-year-old man in the Ampton area in the parish on Monday night. The deceased man has been identified as Cleveland Bruce. Reports are that sometime after 6 p.m., residents heard what appeared to be gunshots coming from a section of the community and alerted the police. Upon their arrival, law enforcers found Bruce suffering from gunshot wounds. He was assisted to the hospital where he died while undergoing treatment. The police are probing the fatal gun attack. Nurse stabbed to death in Manchester robbery attempt. A practical nurse has succumbed to stab wounds she received during an alleged robbery in Manchester over the weekend. The deceased has been identified as 59-year-old Audrey Brown of. Police report that on Saturday about 11:30 a.m., the nurse was heading to work in Christiana when she was accosted by knife-wielding men. The men reportedly demanded that the nurse handed over her valuables, but she refused and was subsequently stabbed several times. The hoodlums then escaped from the area. Police have since held on to one suspect and are in search of a second man. Superintendent Chris Brown, the officer in charge of Area 3, which covers the parish of Clarendon, Manchester, and St. Elizabeth, has expressed gratitude to stakeholders in and around the parish who he said were able to gather information that led to the arrest of the first suspect. The man remains in custody and is being questioned according to Brown. As we continue our search, we are calling on members of the public to assist the police as they continue to search for those responsible for the attack, he said. Retired cop in custody after wife stabbed to death. A 62-year-old retired police inspector is in police custody following the stabbing death of his wife at the couple's Cumberland home in Portmore, St. Catherine on Saturday. The deceased has been identified as 65-year-old Pamela Manning of a Potterdale Avenue, Cumberland address. The Constabulary Communication Unit, the information arm of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, has confirmed the incident. We understand that on August 17th, the couple had a dispute at their home about 10 p.m., during which the husband allegedly used a knife to inflict a wound to his wife's neck. The husband was subsequently arrested, said a CCU representative. The Portmore CIB is investigating. Self-defense or murder. Residents want thorough probe into retired teacher's death. Residents of Potterdale Avenue in Cumberland, St. Catherine are urging detectives to carefully probe the circumstances surrounding the death of a woman in their community, allegedly at the hands of her husband for many years. Reports are that 65-year-old retired teacher Pamela Manning was fatally stabbed by her husband at their home on Potterdale Avenue on Saturday. The incident reportedly occurred about 10:30 p.m. Manning's death has sent shockwaves throughout the Portmore community where the couple lived for some time. With a cry of self-defense in the air, residents are calling on the police to diligently conduct their investigation. We're shocked that it happened right here, so never expect it. The first thing we hear is that she drew the knife, but I can't believe that. Just like that, because of who she is, a resident who wished to remain anonymous said. Another resident said that Manning, an avid churchgoer, practiced and preached Christian principles. Everybody's shocked because we know her to be a Christian. So when we hear the talk, the question I ask myself is, could that all make sense? She is a Christian lady, and we wouldn't expect her to attack him with a knife. We don't know, but the truth would make us feel better. I am sure the family, who we respect, wants answers too. Her husband, whose name is being withheld pending further investigation, remains in police custody and is to be questioned later this week in the presence of an attorney. Police reports are that shortly after 10 p.m., Manning and her husband, a retired police inspector, had a dispute at their home which became physical. A knife was brought into play, which was later used to stab Manning in the neck. On hearing the commotion, residents reportedly summoned the police. It was unclear whether her husband would be charged. The Greater Portmore Criminal Investigation Branch is investigating. Retired police inspector charged with his wife's stabbing death. The police have charged 62-year-old retired police inspector Padang Manning with the stabbing death of his 65-year-old wife. Mr. Manning was charged on Tuesday by the Portmore CIB, and the documents are being prepared for him to go to court sometime between this week to Tuesday of next week. A representative of the Constabulary Communication Unit, the information arm of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, said. Pamela Manning was fatally stabbed allegedly by her husband during a dispute between the couple last Saturday in the Cumberland community in Portmore, St. Catherine. Padang Manning had been arrested earlier this week while the Portmore CIB investigated the incident. The retired police inspector and his wife shared a Potterdale Avenue, Cumberland address. This is Girls Connection, the World Connection. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Also, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you.
Right, could I buy a book for $100, pencil for $30? Come here, some people are push me down my son, I'll see and turn this up from asthma. And a tree will come. No more. No more.